Good evening, everybody. Welcome into our town hall. It is 8:01. We are a minute late. We'll give people a chance to get on and then we'll get started. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. I did this to myself. I gave Paddington the ball a little while ago and now he's squeaking and barking and wanting me to throw it. Good evening to all of you. We'll give folks a minute to get on and then we will get going. Come on, give me the ball. You can just sit down and play with it if you want. Here. As you can see behind me, I know it looks like a lot of light, but it's actually really quiet. So beyond the lights, there's not a whole lot of traffic on the West Side Highway tonight. So that is the good news, is more people hopefully are listening to the governor and the mayor and everybody else and staying inside. Here, come in, get it. Okay, so everyone, what I want to do tonight is I want to start with a doctor who works in North Carolina, whose story I heard recently. He is working at a rural hospital, not very rural, but at one of the smaller cities in North Carolina. We don't want to say what hospital he's working at, simply for privacy reasons. But I was struck by a story he told recently regarding a COVID patient, suspected COVID patient that he treated at the hospital. And so I had a conversation. That's not going to work. Hold on just 1 second. Hold on just 1 second. All right, had to switch out his toys. So I asked the doctor to join us tonight to tell us his story of what it has been like. He posted two x-ray pictures showing the lungs of his patient, and it turned out to be a pregnant woman who came into the hospital, had symptoms of coronavirus, and very quickly had to be intubated, placed on a ventilator, and moved into the ICU. So, Dr. Luis, are you here? I don't know that I see him on here yet. So, Luis, if you're on here, post a comment saying, "Hi, David, I am here," and then I will bring you in. Ah, there he is. There he is. Okay, so Luis, here's the problem, and I just realized your account is private. It has to be public. So I need you to make it public in order for me to bring you in. I can't bring you in if it's private. So what we'll do is we'll give Luis a moment to do that. Shouldn't take very long, and then we will go ahead and bring him in. It's a story I want all of you to hear, a powerful story, a sad story, but a story from the front. We will start with Carmen, maybe? Let's see. Hello.
Hi, David.
Well, hello. How are you?
How are you? I'm shocked that you even accepted me. Angelica, come here.
Well, you are accepted. What is your name and where are you?
Well, my name is Carmencita Perez.
Okay.
I'm in Rincon, Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Lorain, Ohio, which is right outside of Cleveland, Ohio, but we live in Puerto Rico. My husband and I and my stepdaughter moved to Puerto Rico right after the hurricane. We wanted to come to Puerto Rico because my people are from Puerto Rico, and we really wanted to be part of what was happening. We wanted to help, and we wanted to be present here in Puerto Rico and supporting our people and other people that live here in Puerto Rico.
Good. What is your new normal?
Well, of course, you know the rules. My new normal is staying home. We actually try to walk every day on our little mountain And then we come home and I talk to my family and we call every day and we cook and we clean and we stay cleansed and we stay healthy and that's it. But today is a very special, sad day because we buried my grandmother today, my abuela Petra Arroyo, 93, died today in Lorain, Ohio. And none of us could be there except for 10 people. I am the oldest of 20 grandchildren on my mother's side, and it was my mother's mother, and I was very, very close to my abuela. I called her every day. I'm actually a traveling hairdresser, so of course I can't work. And I decided to travel doing hair in Lorain, Ohio, just so I can see my grandmother every month. And I don't regret any of it. I am sad that this normal, that you cannot touch your family, you can't hug them, especially when you lose someone you love so much. Thank God for video. Isn't that amazing?
It is, isn't it? Isn't it?
It is amazing. So I came actually to Puerto Rico. I've been traveling for about a month. Before I came to support my stepdaughter was working in the British Virgin Islands. This is my stepdaughter, Angelica.
Hello, hello.
Hola.
Hi.
She's a chef on yachts for Yacht Week, it's called, and of course Bucket Lust, and she was in the British Virgin Islands and they shut it down early, but I came to babysit the dog. That's Mr. Pickles right there.
Oh, cutie pie.
Mr. Pickles. So I came, and then all of this began, the quarantine, and my husband is in Arizona and we're here alone. My husband is a financial director for 34 elementary schools in Arizona, and like I said, I'm a traveling hairdresser, and I actually was coming here to do a baseball client's hair they were going to come here, and then of course they canceled. So I didn't get stuck. I don't want to use the word stuck because we're not stuck. We just are where we are.
We are where we are. That's a way.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to put it, Carmencita. We are where we are. Listen,
yes.
I send my sincerest condolences regarding the passing of your grandmother. You know, so many families share your story in that they are relegated to using FaceTime in order to have some sort of community grieving service. And so you are not alone, but knowing you're not alone doesn't help the feeling of loneliness. So I get it. I hear you. I hear you.
It was a very surreal experience today, having to be video Skyped or chat or whatever they call it, to see this room of 10 people. And my abuela had 8 children. So how ironic, you know, all 8 of them, well, 7 of them could be there and room for 3 more. And the family being so big, it was really surreal. And then they videotaped at the cemetery, and all my family members were separated from one another, and I could see them reaching out for one another to touch, just to touch each other, because as you know, that Puerto Ricans are very loving, kind, hugging, passionate people. That's what we are.
Yeah. Well, what was her name?
My abuela's name was Petra Arroyo, and she was from Caguas, Puerto Rico. She was from San Salvador, Caguas, Puerto Rico. It's the top of the mountain in Caguas.
Well, may her memory be a blessing. We've said her name aloud tonight, and everyone watching has heard it. So I thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you on, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Can I take a picture with you, please, so I can
Sure.
show my esposo, because he's gonna say, "No, you didn't talk to David."
Sure.
And my husband's name is David, so he would probably say, "You talked to me today?" "No, David, I talked to the other David." So let's take a picture. Oh shoot, do I know what I'm doing? I think I do. David, I just want to say one more thing.
Yep.
I see people, we want to thank you for everything, and you've heard it a billion times, but we want to thank you so much for everything you have done for Puerto Rico and keeping the United States connected to Puerto Rico and vice versa. We thank you for that.
Thank you
So much. And I see people all the time say things like, David Begnaud for governor, and if that could happen, we would just love that.
I'm more effective right where I am doing what I'm doing, and so you can count on me to continue.
Yes, we totally understand, but we just wanted to let you know that. And God bless you.
Thank
Dios
you.
te cuide so
too.
much.
You too. God bless you. Goodbye.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Very, very, very nice lady, and wow, what a story. I mean, so many people have the story like that. So y'all are gonna laugh, but this damn button already stopped working. We got one person in and the button stopped working. I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to call the doctor who we're supposed to be bringing on. His account I thought was private, but let me call him on this phone to see if he was able to get it worked out. So, Dr. Luis, if you're on here, just write in the comment section below, "I'm here," and I can try again to bring you in. Okay, so he says here. Yeah, Luis, it's still not letting me bring you in. So Luis, here, why don't we do this? Luis? Why don't you shut down your phone, power it back up? We've had this problem with folks before with their app. So here's what we'll do, everybody. I'm going to power down my app. I'm going to ask Dr. Rosario to power down his. We'll come right back on, okay? So just stand by. We'll come down and come right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let me know if we have audio. The first folks to join in, just let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Do we have audio? Yes? No? Hello? Do we have audio? Yes, we have audio. Okay, great. So, we'll wait for folks to get on and then we'll go. The button had stopped working, so that button that I used to bring you in. So I am waiting for a doctor to join us. Dr. Luis Rosario is a native of Puerto Rico. He is an ICU doctor. He works in critical care, and he's a traveling doctor, kind of like traveling nurses. They take contracts at hospitals around the country. Dr. Rosario does the same thing. And I was, somebody sent me one of his posts a few days ago and said, "Hey, David, have you seen this?" And it was 2 x-rays that Dr. Rosario had posted. And he said these 2 x-rays are of a woman who is pregnant, who was admitted to the hospital tonight. And he said I had to intubate her. And as a result of her condition, she presented with symptoms of coronavirus. As a result of that emergency, we had to do an emergency C-section to remove her baby. So I was moved by the story, and at the end of his post, what he essentially said was, "Patty cakes." What he essentially said was, "Stay home." Right? That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get people to listen, and in telling a story, compel people to stay home. Paddington, who clearly wants to talk, who's just sitting here looking at me barking. So Dr. Rosario, we were trying to bring, watching from Italy. Hello, Italy. So Dr. Rosario tried to come in. Dr. Rosario tried to come in a moment ago, but he couldn't. I thought his account was private, but it's not. It's public. So I called him and asked him to shut down his phone and power back up. Yeah, Patty wants to talk. You can hear him talking. Paddington threw his toy over there. So let's see. Like your view. Thank you. Pretty cool view, right? I'll show you. That's the rest of it. So you can see. Oh, you see right there the red? That's the Empire State Building. That is the Empire State Building here in Manhattan. So, yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful view that I have. Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. So if Dr. Passport is here, and there he is, Dr. Luis Rosario. Good evening.
Hey, David. Good to be here. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, sir. So I was just telling everybody, I came across, somebody shared your post with me and said, David, have you seen this? And I read it and I was moved by it. So just for folks who may just be joining, Dr. Rosario is from Puerto Rico, grew up in Guaynabo, trained in Miami and New York, graduated from the UPR system, is a critical care doctor, works in the ICU and travels, right? So he's working at a North Carolina hospital. We're not going to reveal where it is for privacy reasons.
Correct.
So he posted two x-rays, two different x-rays. And I want you to, why don't we start there, Dr. Rosario? What did those two x-rays show?
Well, the first x-ray, for the ones that have access to your I don't know if they have access to my account. The first x-ray is from admission. And this is a young lady in her low 30s that had been having flu-like symptoms for a week. She's pregnant. She had gone to her OBGYN and they had done a flu test and they had sent her home. The flu test was negative. They sent her home. They told her to quarantine, but obviously within 7 days, she decompensated to the point that she had to go to the hospital. She was short of breath, requiring some oxygen. So I was called to evaluate her in the emergency room. At that time was the time of the first x-ray, which shows pneumonia on both lungs. And she clinically looked, she was talking, she was requiring some oxygen, but she was alert. And if this was a regular pneumonia on a young patient like her, probably she would have been in the hospital for a couple of days, but we wouldn't have expected any problems. She probably could have held her own.
Let me show everybody the x-ray you're talking about. So this was, everyone, the first x-ray. And so describe to us, Doc, what is the appearance of COVID here?
Yeah, so it's basically pneumonia what we're seeing. Air in an x-ray looks black. So you see there both lungs, right? The black parts on the top are air. So the lungs are supposed to be completely black all the way down, okay? What you see in the middle, what's white in the middle is the heart. And then you see white patches on both sides of the lungs. On the lower sides, those are pneumonia. There's now nothing specific there that says COVID because it's just plain pneumonia. But because of what we're living, we have to always think about that. So
somebody actually told me, Doc, that you can add the lives. Oh, I can add a photo. Wow. Okay. So this, everyone, is the photo that the doctor was talking about. But tell them what the second one is. Tell them what this picture is.
So the second picture is after she decompensated, like 2 hours later, she couldn't breathe anymore. Her oxygen levels were really low. At that time, she was already in the intensive care. So we had to perform an emergent intubation because we couldn't keep her oxygen up with the support that we were giving her with the face mask. So I can't point now, but what you see is worsening pneumonia on both sides. You don't see anything black on either side anymore. It's just pneumonia everywhere. So the whiter it is, the worse it is. Yes.
Right.
The
And
wider it is, it means it's fluid or pneumonia. We can't tell by an X-ray, but just by the progression that we're seeing here is rapidly progressive pneumonia
okay.
based on her other symptoms.
And essentially, what you can also see in this image are what looks like some lines, and the lines are
Yeah.
the actual tubes, right?
So right. If you see that X-ray, there's three lines that are inside her body. The one you see on the left that's going down, it's the central line, which is a big IV that's placed through the neck on the internal jugular vein, and it goes straight to the heart. So the tip of the line on the left goes straight to the heart so we can provide medications more effectively. The other is a tube that goes down to breathe, and then the other one goes to the stomach for medications and food.
So she was intubated, she was on a ventilator, she was critical. You ended up calling the OB to go ahead and do a C-section. They delivered the baby, and the baby had to be placed on a ventilator as well. But you got an update. How's the baby doing?
The baby looks like he's doing okay. He was, they were able to extubate him yesterday, so it seems like he's doing okay. Mom is still fighting for her life there, but she's young and it's still early on the course. When patients have extensive pneumonia like this, we expect their course on a ventilator to be more prolonged than when somebody has a regular pneumonia.
And this lady is in her early 30s, you guys. This is
Early 30s.
This is a very young woman. And
No,
go ahead.
no pre-existing conditions on this lady.
That's really important. No pre-existing.
And I've seen many cases in the last 3 or 4 weeks, young people, 20s, 30s, 40s.
A couple of really important things. You were telling me that she was part of a church group that had come in with symptoms. Is that correct?
No, that's a separate group.
Oh, that's a separate case.
Yeah, that's a separate group of a big group that came in all from a specific congregation.
Got it. You were telling me also that you were running low on medication in the hospital, and that the bigger concern for you guys wasn't PPE right now, it was the actual medicine that you need to paralyze the body in order to have it in that paralyzed state on the ventilator. Tell us more about that.
This week we had enough PPEs to work around. At the end of the week, you could see that there was a little scrambling to get stuff, and we started recycling and doing other things to prevent using PPEs, like putting the pumps of the medications for the patients outside the room so the nurse doesn't have to go inside. I'm sure you've seen that before. But my main concern as of this week is the lack of medications for sedation and paralytics that are very important when somebody's on a ventilator and they require a lot of support. Like we want to breathe for them, completely breathe for them, just give them a break. And they need to be very synchronous with the ventilator. They can't be fighting the ventilator. So we have to sometimes sedate them very heavily with certain medications that we're lacking already, to the point that I am using medications to sedate, like ketamine, which we rarely use because we ran out of propofol, Versed, and also a paralytic called Nimbax. We just ran out of it. So we're just scrambling to do our best. I'm not sure if that's going to change or not, but the longer the people are on ventilators around the US, the more these medications are going to be used, and it's going to be a big problem.
I'm looking at the post that you actually made that I first saw. You said at the end of it, without health, there is no economy. Denial is our most dangerous enemy. Who were you speaking to there?
I'm speaking to our elected officials that are not listening to the medical experts and making sound decisions. I can give you an example here. Next to where I live, there's a construction project where I see 200, 300 people a day just working next to each other, and then they go home to their families. So how can you do a quarantine if your family is at home and then you're exposed to 200, 300 people? You go home, and that's not a real quarantine. And why are why are states still open like North Dakota and other states? It's like business as usual. They're letting the citizens decide. You have to be more strict. Why do we have almost 400,000 cases already, and Taiwan has a couple thousand? It's only 80 miles from China. They have less than 1,000 deaths in Taiwan, and it's only 80 miles. So the only thing that works is really strict social distancing. It's the only thing that works. There's no medications for this.
People are asking where you are. If you're just coming into the conversation, Dr. Rosario is in North Carolina. We're not disclosing exactly where he is, just for the privacy of the patients and cases that he is talking about here. But the reason he's talking about this, the reason he made the post, is simply for all of us to listen. As we start to get restless, as we start to think, well, I can wander out a little bit. There is a 30-year-old woman in North Carolina with no pre-existing conditions on a ventilator tonight, right now. And she's been on the ventilator since Dr. Rosario intubated her last week. That's why I wanted you guys to hear this story. Let me ask you, Doc, we hear so much about these anti-malarial treatments going on, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin. Did you use any drugs as an experimental drug in this case for this lady?
On this lady, we are using the combination of hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin. Okay, it was not contraindicated it's not contraindicated during pregnancy, but obviously we started after anyways. But we've been using it on most patients. Remember, my patients are all critical, so they're the sickest of the sickest. I personally haven't seen anything happen once we started those medications. We're using them because it's what we have, but I haven't seen any positive results from it.
Someone's asking, can he talk about the risks of COVID while pregnant?
Well, we know that previous pandemics like SARS, Middle Eastern respiratory virus, and flu, pregnant women do worse, okay, in terms of outcomes. Now, there was a recent study that came out today that didn't find any increased risk for women with COVID. But there's a lot we don't know here. I mean, this is new, so we will only know the truth in a couple of years or more than that. So I would just say, be more cautious than cautious. Don't hang out with anybody. Just stay home. If you're pregnant, even more.
Listen, I thank you for sharing this. I thank you for what you're doing. We joked earlier about your mother in Puerto Rico being worried about you, but the reality is you're exposed to it every day. And please stay safe. I know you are, but stay safe.
I'm taking all my precautions, and this is my time to work. This is what I do, and I'm young, so we're gonna continue to fight this. We just need better odds and maybe a couple more tools and the cooperation of all our citizens to stay home. And I know it's hard to stay home, but it's the only thing that works. So we don't have any choice right now.
The alternative is far worse.
Yes.
Far worse. Dr. Rosario, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And thank you for all the work you do for Puerto Rico and in general, just keeping everybody informed in a candid way.
Thank you for making us all a little bit smarter tonight. Get some rest.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
What a nice gentleman. So I wanted you all to hear directly from him. It doesn't get more frontline than that. Doesn't get more frontline than that. So I'm thinking about that woman. I'm thinking about that woman. A lot of people on ventilators in around the country tonight. So if you would like to be brought in, you can leave a comment below, or you can press the button, because the button is working right now, and I can try and bring you in. Let's see. Fabiola. Hello.
Oh my God.
Hi. What is your name?
Hi.
Fabiola?
Yes.
Where are you in the world?
I am in Plata, Puerto Rico.
Do Alto. Okay. And you look very happy.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet you. I've been following you since forever, so it's so cool. Hi.
Well, thank you. Hi. So tell me about your new normal.
So I guess the reason I wanted to come on, I'm a pre-candidate for Miss Universe Puerto Rico, so I kind of bring a little bit different. Our whole realities have changed. Obviously, it's not the focus right now, but
Right.
my dad is a 72-year-old diabetic, high blood pressure. My mom is over 60, so everyone here is very susceptible to the virus. So I've been the one kind of going out and doing the groceries and bringing them in, Clorox, Lysol, all that stuff. And in my free time, I kind of made a little like studio here, my makeshift studio where I've been, just working out. And same thing to the other girls. Our worlds were kind of just flipped upside down, because this is a whole process. So we're all a little, scared, but health goes first, and the organization is very aware of that. So
Now, when is the competition? When is the competition?
It should have been by the summertime, so around the July time. So
and where is the
we're
pageant?
taking it day by day. It usually is in Bellas Artes. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So whoever wins that becomes Miss Puerto Rico and goes on to the Miss Universe pageant.
Universe, yes.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there's obviously more important things, but I just thought it was interesting, how people that are, in the entertainment industry, or people that, are preparing for competitions, athletes, everything's been postponed, everything's been pushed back. So we're kind of trying to keep what would have been our normal and doing it here at home, practicing. I have my heels on right now, practicing at home, doing things at home, and just praying that one day we can go back to doing what we were meant to do.
In
having
the
process.
In having the heels on, are you practicing like the walking on the?
Yes, the walking. It's very important. The runway walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, there's
it's
an art to it. There's an art to it.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a science. There's an art. It's everything. And but yeah, not only that, reading the newspaper with gloves on, staying informed, being very, very diligent, with your time. You want to get into sort of a routine. You don't just want to kind of, at least I am in my personal life, don't want to just like sit back. So I force my parents, let's go into the pool, let's go get, sunbathe a little bit to get our minds off the situation, but always being conscious of the situation. So
everybody's got a story, and I thank you for sharing yours. I think that's some coquille that I hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of them around here, so it's good.
Good. Well,
Yeah,
I wish you the best in the competition.
Thank you, but yeah, for now, health is more important, so everyone stay safe. Take care of your parents, your family, your grandmothers, grandfathers. That's the most important thing right now. There will be time for Olympics and pageants and all that fun stuff once it's over. So
my best to you. Nice to meet you, Fabiola.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Good luck to her. Okay. Aurora. By the way, in a moment, as soon as we finish with Aurora.
At the moment, it is almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my. Okay. Where are you in Puerto Rico?
I live in Torre Annunziata, right beside Pompeii.
Okay.
Do you hear me well?
I hear you very well. Very well.
Okay. My husband and my daughter are sleeping in the other room, so I'm trying to lower my voice.
we hear you great. What is the situation in Italy right now?
I've been in quarantine officially since March 2nd. So, and I live in an apartment building. It's been rough. It's been really, really rough. We can't leave the house. My husband's the only one that leaves the house. He works in the Pompeii ruins, actually, and of course, the touristic site has been closed for about 2 months now. And he works like 2 or 3 days, and then he's off around 8 days. His superiors asked him and other of his colleagues to consume their holiday days from last year so that they could be home as much as possible. And it's very strict. He has to have a certificate to be able to work in the other town. If he gets stopped and he's not justified, let me turn on the light.
Sure.
If he's not justified,
Keep talking. I have to get my charger, or the phone's gonna die. Keep talking. Keep talking.
if the police stop him and he doesn't have a legitimate reason to be in another town that's not where he lives, then he'll get fined or even up to 3 months in jail.
And they have been enforced.
And there were some people, unfortunately, and more so young people, teenagers, who just didn't take things seriously and were still going out, jogging, meeting each other, going to the parks. And when the borders were closed up in North Italy, there was a huge migration of Italians that work in the north, but they live officially in the south, and they came down to the south. And by coming down to the south, many were infected, asymptomatic. So, but that was like a month ago. So, yes, everything is stricter. It's just been hard, especially with my daughter. I mean, she's gonna be 5, so she's in kindergarten. I don't have to do any homeschooling, per se, but she misses going out to the park, and we live in an apartment building. I just can't go around and walk around our building 3 times. We can't do it. So I'm actually up because my sister lives in Virginia, and I was teaching her how to make homemade bread. We haven't been buying bread, so I'm making bread and buying a lot of flour, cooking a lot. So yeah, it's just really sad, and try not to look a lot at the news. I look at it, I watch it in the morning and a little bit in the evening, but sometimes it's just very overwhelming. I am Puerto Rican, by the way. I come from Canóvanas, Puerto Rico, but my husband's Italian. I've been in Italy for 17 years.
Okay.
So, but my parents left after Hurricane Maria, and they live in Orlando, and then I have siblings around the U.S. and Virginia, and then also in Miami.
So just a couple of questions that people are asking me. Are you still you're in a total lockdown still? Right? Total
lockdown. We cannot.
And in terms of food, your husband goes to get it, or you have it delivered?
No, I think they deliver to people who are over 65, 70, but not every grocers deliver to your house. Sure. And if you leave your house, you have to go to a supermarket that's in your town. If you go to a supermarket outside of your town and get stopped, you get fined. So we have to go to different places to buy our food.
I'm so glad you could join us. I would apologize for keeping you up so late, but
oh no, I was up anyway. I was making bread, and then I got on Instagram. I saw that you were live, and I've been trying actually to be awake at the time that you're live. So I'm just very honored. Thank you so much. God bless you. You are amazing, 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 David. Thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you, Fabiola. It's very nice. Aurora. I'm sorry, Fabiola was the last one.
It's okay.
Thank you, Aurora. It's nice to hear from someone in Italy, because we have all been watching with such a heavy heart for what you guys are dealing with, trying to realize that is a lesson for us, right?
Exactly. So, yes, it is.
Hearing from someone who is there is really nice. So I'm so glad we could get you on.
Well, thank you so much for responding to my request, and I'll keep on watching. I'm not going to go to sleep yet. I'm not sleeping.
Bless you, Aurora. Good luck.
You as well. You as well. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, that was... let's see here. The Justice Department in Puerto Rico is going to investigate the purchase or the attempted purchase of the company in Puerto Rico that was basically, you guys heard about the scandal in Puerto Rico that the Department of Health had basically looked to use some companies that had never done medical work before and had some kind of ties to the party in power. The Department of Health was going to use them to purchase these kits that were way overpriced, the testing kits for COVID-19. Well, the Justice Department is now going to investigate a complaint made by a senator on the island as to why they were doing something that seems pretty corrupt. Seems pretty corrupt. That's the opinion of a lot of people. So anyway, very, very interesting that is happening. So that's just coming out. Listen, before I bring in our next guest, I want to let you know it was last night that someone on here said, hey, David, people are coming from New York, sick and arriving in Puerto Rico. I spoke with General Jose Reyes, who is the head of the Puerto Rico National Guard. He told me today that last week, 2 individuals from New York arrived. They were on different planes. They weren't traveling together. Both had, it is the understanding of the general, both of these individuals had COVID type of symptoms regarding fever, but they had taken medication. So when they arrived at the airport, they had their temperature taken twice, the general says. One by all the cameras in the airport, which take your temperature without you knowing it. And the other is an actual monitor that they stick on your head to take your temperature. Both of them did not register that 100.3 that would flag the person. What ended up happening, the general said, is before they left, not knowing otherwise, Puerto Rico now requires you to fill out a piece of paper saying where you're going, what your number is, what the address is, where you're going to be, so on and so forth. And it gives you a number to call if you start feeling symptoms, right? Those 2 people went home and to wherever they were going, and in pretty short order called the number, said they were having symptoms. Both of those people are now in the hospital, and according to the general, both of those people at last check were on ventilators. Both of them are on ventilators at the hospital in Puerto Rico. So this is obviously a great concern to the government of Puerto Rico. I can also tell you that the general said the number of people arriving on the island has plummeted, whereas on a given day there would be between 13,000 and 15,000 pre-pandemic. The numbers had dropped during the pandemic to about, I think he said 1,500, but as of within the last 24 hours, it had dropped to 900. So the numbers continue to decrease. But at any rate, this is, it would be a problem for anyone with people arriving and, not telling the truth about how they feel. But now both of those individuals, according to the general, the last check, are on ventilators in the hospital. So we will bring in the next person. Hi.
How you doing, David?
I am well, but it looks like you're frozen. Are you there? Oh, it's frozen. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. I believe his name was Manny. But Manny, I saw you and the picture looked good, but every time you spoke, there was a pretty dramatic delay, and then it was starting to break up. So apologize to Manny for that. Okay, so let's go to the next person.
Oh my God. Hi, David. You always cut me with my light off. Just give me a second.
You are so funny.
How are
I
you
never
doing?
realize it's you every time. You get on more than anybody else. I love it.
It's okay.
So you're in Puerto Rico. You had
Yep.
mycoplasma along with your father, who is
My father
suffering
is
from
okay. My
Alzheimer's,
father
but you're
is
both
okay.
negative, right?
Yeah, but there is a problem now that I am just starting to have this. This morning I started to develop fever, and it was pretty high. So I am taking Tylenol. I'm watching myself to see if anything else develops. So right now
Oh,
I am only having fever, and we will see what's going on. And as you know, I cut my hair really, really short because my daughter, who is a nurse in Orlando, she was taking care of some patients, and they told her that three of the patients that she took care of, I'm sorry, screening, came up positive. So she has to get tested. And I said, oh my God, if something happens, I'm gonna. So I made a promise, and I said, if something came out okay, so that's my daughter. Oh my God. So I will cut, and so I just cut my hair and just watching
okay.
myself because of fever. So nothing.
How's your
I really
fever
hope that
now?
it's 99.
Okay,
I am
okay.
I am taking Tylenol. This morning was 101.3. So yeah, I am taking care of myself and keeping more distance between my father and me. So we're keeping really big distance now.
Smart, smart,
Yes.
smart.
But anyways, thank you so much for having me again. Take
You're
care and
welcome.
nice view from your apartment.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a great view.
I hope you feel better.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Take
baby. Good
care.
night.
Bye.
Oh, she's dealt with so much, the mycoplasma, then she's now clear, and then the fever. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What is your name?
I'm Xiomara. I'm from Brooklyn.
You're from Brooklyn. Okay.
Yes.
So look at you sitting there all comfortable, cozy in your house. How-
Yeah, trying to at least.
yeah. What is your new normal?
My new normal is I try to quarantine myself when I'm not at work. Both me and my son are both college students, so I guess we're in a little bit of a competition with that. But but the thing is that it's been definitely a change. It's been a lot of fear. I work for an ED and
You work for a what?
emergency room.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, it's crazy because it's like my faith has gotten stronger because everything that I see, it's taking a toll on me emotionally. But then again, um, I count my blessings because for someone who's immunocompromised, because I'm an asthmatic, it increases the chances of me possibly getting sick. So it's kind of scary in a way. And it's like now I'm starting to hear so many people. I mean, so many. It's like lately, the past 2 weeks, it's like every day we're hearing of somebody passing away.
what do you
And
work? What do you do in the emergency department?
um, I am actually a business associate, so I register the patients.
Yeah.
Which is something a little different because I used to work as a medical assistant. So I was transitioning to something a little different because I'm trying to complete my nursing program. So that now that I'm finally in a program, it's hard because we can't complete it because of what's going on. Everything is on like hold.
You don't work at Brooklyn Hospital Center, do you?
I sure do not, but I'm walking distance from there. I actually work for Mount Sinai.
Oh, you work at Mount Sinai? Because I was just at Brooklyn Hospital Center.
Yeah, I'm actually right down the street. I can actually look out the window and see it from where I live.
Wow.
Hmm.
So it's weighing on you. It's
Yeah,
weighing
it
on you.
is. It is. It really is. And it's hard to see these people passing away with nobody around them. And sometimes it's like there's always a language barrier with certain people. So it's kind of hard to transition certain things when, it's hard to communicate. But yeah, it's lately. I think the last day and a half it's been weighing where it's affecting me. Usually, and I'm not even there full time. I actually transitioned into the position because I want to finish nursing school.
Do you, when you go in, are you wearing a mask and gloves and?
I've tried to find an N95. They're very scarce because they're very limited. But we have, it's like I noticed it's just enough. You know what I mean? And and it's crazy because I know from working in the medical field, you're supposed to be able to change. Now, you have to hold on to what you have.
Well, what do you wear? Are you wearing something?
Yeah, I have to. I make every effort in trying to find an N95.
Okay, so every day you are wearing an N95. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about gloves?
Gloves, to be honest with you, if I'm interacting with patients, yes, I wear gloves. A PPE, of course.
And you have
When
you have your glasses on because you also want some kind of eye protection.
I actually, yeah, but I'm home at home. I wear glasses. When I'm at work, I wear contacts. But what I do find, I have goggles, lab goggles, when I was taking science
Good, good,
classes.
good, good. No, that's great. No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, because the thing is that so, you know, they give us shields or like mask with shields, but sometimes it's already I don't know if it's because my breathing is already affected with everything that's going on.
Yeah,
um I feel that it's better with with goggles versus extra shields, because sometimes we have to wear more than one mask.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Well,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good to hear from you.
Thank you.
You've shared your story with everyone here. We all hear you, and we all are sending
Yes, please stay home. I
our
mean,
best wishes.
please, people, stay home.
Yeah,
It's no joke. I mean, just today, I just went to go fill up my car, and I'm like, why is there so many humans in the streets?
yeah,
This is no joke.
yeah. I don't know what else. I don't know what else I have to do.
It's crazy.
Have to do to get people to get it. I don't know.
It's
I don't know what else we have to do to get people to get it. To get it.
Yeah, and I know, if I understand, they doubled up the fine, but it goes from one ear out the other.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful
You,
night. And
you
good
too. All
luck
the
in
best.
nursing school.
Thank you. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish before I retire.
You're gonna be a nurse, honey.
I know. I've only been trying to do that for like 100 years.
Don't let your son graduate before you.
Oh no, we're in competition. He's trying to finish Grove, and I'm trying to finish nursing.
Hey, listen, I love a healthy competition.
Exactly. It's always
All
a
right.
good thing.
Good
All the
night.
best. All right. Good night.
Oh, how sweet was she? How sweet was she?
Hello.
Hello, what is your name?
My name is Sade. I am in Florida, Palm Beach County to be exact.
I love the name Sade. That is so unique.
Thank you.
So what's your new normal?
Well, I'm currently 27 weeks pregnant. So
Oh.
I jumped on because I saw the article that you posted, and it kind of hit home as far as, I'm 29, about to be 30. So I'm currently still working, but I'm not working from home. My husband is considered an essential employee, so he's working.
Yeah.
My mother works for Walmart. So it's been really hard as far as, my dad's 78. He has a compromised immune system. I have not been able to see my mom. It wasn't until actually Friday, Saturday that the Walmart employees in our area are now wearing protective masks. So prior to this, there was no protective gear being provided to these employees. So they're getting a mask. I have a sister-in-law who is an emergency room trauma nurse and has told me that they're getting like a PPE mask that they have to wear for like 7 days. So it's really frustrating when you have family members that you're not able to see, and just seeing the change in the reality of what this is affecting. For me, I'm more concerned, I'm 27 weeks pregnant. I have a 2-year-old, and not knowing how my birthing plan is going to go, because hospitals now are limiting, visitors. I've been told to be prepared for possibly not having my husband there. being alone in a room, having to give birth. So it's just a lot of unknowns. My county actually right now has surpassed Miami and Broward-Dade.
Palm Beach County has surpassed that. Wow.
Has with the amount of coronavirus cases confirmed.
Wow. Well, did you see the interview we did with the doctor at the start of this?
Yes, I did. So I'm glad to know that the baby's doing better, but the mom
Yes.
on the ventilator.
Yes. Listen,
A little.
here's the reality. Take care. Like, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Like, no matter how much it starts to drive you crazy, don't go anywhere. You know, you're living for two. You're living for two. So don't go anywhere, please.
Yeah. So we went. Now my husband has been able. He does construction, so I have a mask if I do need to go out. We are lucky to have great neighbors. So if they do like a ship or Instacart order, we'll put orders on there.
Yeah.
But it's just the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation has changed for all of us, and I think
Totally.
it's closer when you have family members or friends, which we have friends who have been affected by it.
You who have been infected with the virus?
No, we have friends. Like we have a friend that has had the virus, who was tested positive for it, and he explained to us. Sorry, that's my 2-year-old.
Oh, you are so cute.
And he was tested recently for the virus, and when we asked him how he felt, his words to my husband were, "It's nothing that he has ever experienced before."
That's what people keep telling me. Listen, I have talked to people who have had mild cases, and the mild case, they said, was the worst flu they've ever had. Like, people use the term 5 times and 10 times, and people listen to me. Every single person I've talked to has said, David, it's far worse than any sickness I've had. Why would these people lie? And I'm not talking to y'all. I believe y'all get it. But we're still fighting people who are trying to mislead, trying to poke holes, trying to suggest it's not as big a deal as they say. It is. It is. People are dying at 30. They're dying at 20. They're in the ICU at 19. They're dying at 90 and 7. Now, listen. There are people surviving. I posted a video, and if you guys want some good news, I would encourage you when I'm done with this to go and look at what I posted earlier today. It's right here on Instagram. A man named David Latt, he's 44 years old, marathon runner, lawyer in New York City, was on a ventilator for 6 days and was successfully brought off. And he is alive and at home tonight. But when you watch the interview, you will hear him talk like this because he was so short of breath.
Right. And I think one of the things that needs to be, I hope there will be more articles about, is the effect it has on women. I think why that article resonated so much to me, it's because no one really talks about being pregnant with, coronavirus. Everyone, you see articles about the elderly, but, being pregnant, you're also compromised because, like you said, you're breeding for 2.
But you know what, love? I got to be honest with you. The data coming out of China and Italy is very limited. But on top of that, I don't usually hear about women with the virus unless they're in the hospital on ventilators. I mean, I've only heard 2 stories about pregnant women. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a woman who was 22 weeks pregnant. First of all, do you want me to not say this because I don't want to scare you?
No, I want to get as much information as possible. That's why I tuned on, because I think, when I asked my OBGYN, okay, like, what do you recommend? Do you recommend I stay home from work when this all first started? He was, I called and they basically told me initially just social distance. It wasn't until my sister-in-law who's a nurse was like, you need to stay home. Like, this is serious. You need to.
Totally. So the only cases I know of are the one you heard tonight, but you already heard that out of North Carolina. Then there was a story out of Baton Rouge of a woman who was 22 weeks pregnant, went into the hospital, went on a ventilator, the baby was delivered, and the baby died. And it was a COVID-related death because they believe the mother's inability to get sufficient oxygen contributed, and I think we're losing her. You there, love?
No, I'm here. Yeah, okay. You got me.
So
yes.
Anyway, the mother was 22 weeks pregnant. They had to do a C-section, and the baby passed away. So there's not a lot of data. And the first time, if I hear that a pregnant woman got it and survived it, I'm going to tell everybody about it. I'm sure there are cases like it. I just haven't heard it, but they're very few and far between. Bottom line, I wouldn't let anybody go around you but that baby, you know?
Right. No, I haven't, like I said, I really haven't left my house. My mom, like I said, she's a Walmart employee.
Yeah.
She's afraid for me, you know, and I think that's the hardest part, you know, like when you can't see your family.
Yep.
And that, and then, you know, the fear that my mom has because I am pregnant, because there are so many unknowns of what that does. So hearing that doctor speak tonight, one of the things I wanted to know was how far along, you know, that poor woman was when she had to be intubated.
I think, well, hold on, wait a minute. I think, where's my other phone? I think he maybe answered that question. Let me see if I can find out. In her 30s, let me see. Let me message him and see if he responds. How far along was the mother in terms of pregnancy? Question mark. Let's see if he responds in quick order.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually say in his post.
So that was one of the things that, you know, that popped in my mind, like how far along was she, you know? And he really gave some great insight as far as, you know, like.
Oh, he's responding. Just waiting. Third trimester. Viable. She was viable.
Okay. No, I just hope that for her child. It's just really, it's just really sad, the reality. And I think the longer, you know, we have a stay-at-home order in Palm Beach County until April 30th, but you do see cars out there, you know. It's just, I feel the longer you wait it out, the longer this is going to take. Because there's really no way around it. And like the doctor said, there is no cure. So it's one of the
cure, no vaccine, no treatment, nothing that we know of right now. The only thing that we know is if you don't go near anyone who has it, you don't get it. It's very simple. That's the only thing we know. You don't go near it, you don't get it.
Yeah, and one of the things too, I feel like, is the people who are out there, you know, these grocery store workers, these essential workers that are working so hard day in and day night, you know, we have to have patience with them. They're tired too. They miss their families. You know, like I said, I haven't seen my mother in over 2 weeks, and people get frustrated, but you know, because there's no, like, we're in my area, you can barely find toilet paper, eggs, milk, cleaning supplies, but they're in the same boat that we're in, you know.
Of course, yeah.
So I think hopefully the situation gets better. You try to stay positive for everyone.
And inform, positive and inform, because positive is great, but you got to stay informed too. We can't just bury our head in the sand and not watch. You know, the news is tough to listen to, but the news has never been more important than it is right now.
Yeah, and the great thing is that we're in this era where we have social media that we can rely on to get, you know, information, you know.
But allow me to say to everyone, social media is very dangerous. There are people trying to mislead and lie, and social media is very dangerous. You have to be very careful about who you follow. And when you follow someone who says something that seems too hard to, like, unbelievable, it may be. So Google it and go to the trusted sources that you know, right? The trusted newspaper in your area, people like me, but not everyone knows who I am. So the, you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Miami Herald. I mean, there's a whole bunch of resources you can go to, but just be careful. There's a whole lot of people trying to lie about what's going on social media too. So,
no, I completely agree.
And I wasn't saying that to you. I'm just saying that to other folks watching.
Right. I tune into you because you have like such great content. You are hitting a nail on the head when you reach out to all of us. And, you know, I feel that when I see these articles, they're like everyday articles. You're not sounding redundant. You're not sounding like your regular newspaper where, you know, you don't really know what to believe. You're getting to that point where you don't know what to believe if you watch the news long enough. But when you have, you know, reliable sources, you can start becoming more informed.
Totally. And another alternative, somebody just said, if you want to go, is cdc.gov. Great resource. cdc.gov. They put new data coming out. They put new guidelines from the government, all that kind of stuff. So, listen, I got to bounce because I got to go to bed because I got to be on TV. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, that's it. Thank you for joining us. We will do it again tomorrow night. Until then, good night.